What's up, Juventini? We've got a bunch to take a look at. The situation around Renato Vega gets clarification from Mirko Di Natale, and Juve eyeing up a return, trying to scoop up Koni De Winter from right under the noses of Napoli. We'll go through the latest details there. In the attack, updates on Kolomuani and Conceição, Lookman, and even Rasmus Højlund. We'll tackle that. And then the sponsorship, what's going on, apparently close to a signature. We also have the numbers of how much money this is going to bring in for Juventus. For the injury roundup as we get ready for Parma, 2 names come off of the injured list for Juventus. We're going to look at all this together right now. I'm Berto. This is the AJC, your channel dedicated to Juventus. It's April 18th. Let's rock with the news. And we kick things off with Renato Vega. Just a few days ago, we heard he was going to potentially cost Juventus 50 million euros to purchase from Chelsea. However, the game plan has been laid out for Juve, and they are going to be pushing for another loan. One more season loan, and then most likely an option trying to latch on to the end of that for Renato Vega. But Juve set to have discussions with Chelsea this upcoming week around Renato Vega. When it comes to that 50 million euro purchase price, Mirko Di Natale claims that is not the case, and he will not be costing 50 million euros. It seemed like the majority of us felt 25 to 30 million is a fair range for Renato Vega. Let's wait to see how this one shapes up. But Juve working to try and retain Renato Vega. But there's also another name to add to the backline list for targets, and this one would be a return as former Juve property, and that is Koni De Winter. Apparently Napoli is hot on landing the player and is in the lead. The price that Genoa is looking for is 25 million euros. But the kicker here that could see Juve strike is the fact that we hold a 25% release clause on the player. So we can actually leverage that and scoop up Koni De Winter ahead of the other teams interested, as there are 5 clubs in total interested in the player, Napoli being one of them, and now apparently Juventus as well. Should Juve pick up Koni De Winter at possibly looking around a price of 15 million euros? What do you think? Weigh in the comments. When we get to the attack, the situations around Kolomuani and Conceição appear to be the same. Neither one looks to be retained. The only one out there that is claiming Conceição will be retained is, in fact, Mirko Di Natale, and he still stands firm that that is the plan. But everybody else pretty much weighing in that Conceição and Kolomuani will be returning to their parent clubs. PSG for Kolomuani, Porto for Conceição. In the background, there are some moving pieces. Lookman, targeted by Juventus. Apparently, the news today is he is 100% leaving Atalanta in the summer. So we will see if Juve's interest takes them to the point where they try to strike. Rasmus Højlund, he's been linked as a potential target for Juventus, and all the news claims Manchester United is open to a loan to kick things off for Rasmus Højlund. So let's see, everybody, what shapes up there. When you get to the sponsorship, Jeep has been thrown out there heavy over the past week and a half. Well, now today we hear that it is down to final signatures, and this thing could be closed in the coming days. However, when we get to the numbers, 25 million euros annually, as we are set to see 50 million euros total spread out over a 2-year period. This is down significantly from the last Jeep sponsorship we had that was 38 million euros annually. So nonetheless, this is probably why Visit Detroit was trying to get in as co-main sponsor to try and bring up the overall money. But in the end, it looks like it is going to be Jeep solo at 25 million annually. Well, is that the best we could possibly do? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. And even if it was, we should have gotten it far, far earlier, because you still have taken nothing in sponsorship for this particular season. Nonetheless, Jeep ready to sign on again. Now we get to the injury roundup, and you've got Cambiaso back to the starting 11 for Parma. He is back, and he is expected to be in that starting 11. McKennie, he is also off the injured list. He trained in full with the group, as well as Cambiaso. Co-Miners, Yildiz, Imbangula have all still trained separately, and Bremer apparently will be back for the Club World Cup, and apparently that was always the aim. However, remember, we like to keep the media in check. The earlier reports from the credible journalist claimed that Juve will not unnecessarily risk Bremer in the Club World Cup. If there are any doubts carried out, even if he is fit and able to go, if there are any doubts, they will not use him in that tournament, and I believe 1000% that is the correct approach when it comes to Gleison Bremer. That is your news break. You all know the drill. All right, like the video, subscribe to the channel, join our AJC Army, and let me know what you think about all the news you just heard here today. Koni De Winter coming back? Should we bring him back? Weigh in, everybody. Let's mix it up. Till next time, as always, fino alla fine, forza Juventus. Ciao tutti.